Good morning. My name is Don Ward, and I'm the pastor of the Southern House Ministries, where we meet at 2206 Street, 5 in the city, Texas 77459. At 10 a.m., we have our Bible lesson, Sunday school for our adults, for 10:30, we do that for our youth. At 11 a.m., we start our morning worship hour, and we broadcast via Facebook Live and YouTube at 11:30 approximately for your viewing for the chief and great Israelite, and you can share in the Word of God with us. I want to thank you as you have been very astute in joining us and helping us to spread the Word of God. I appreciate it. I do not take it lightly, as I know that you have a number of different places you can visit, a number of different places you can watch and share in their services. Again, on next Sunday, we will resume our in-person services. Please feel free to come if you are in the area. We are still doing our best to protect each other from COVID, as COVID has not gone. And it is nothing to be ashamed of. People all around have recovered from this. We want to say homage to those who have succumbed to this virus. It is a sad thing, but we pay homage unto them. And on tomorrow, we pay homage to those of you who have served in any branch of our armed services, be it the military and on the first responders, if you have been with the National Guard. We thank you for your service as we prepare for Memorial Day, because we know that you have given the ultimate sacrifice to those who may not believe like you, who may not think like you, but yet, when duty called, you showed up to protect our freedom. So thank you for those of you who serve. God bless you and God keep you. It is our prayer. Please pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for blessing us, guiding us, keeping us, leading us, blessing us, being our Lord and being our God. Help us to do the good and perfect will throughout this day. Let us see you in us and us in you, Father. And Father, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. You are my strength and you are my redeemer. Now, I took the sick, the sudden, the bereaved, the incarcerated, the homeless, the helpless, the widow, the stranger, and the orphan. You said that if any should come against me, that you would take up their cause. And so, Father, we just thank you for that. Now, Father, I ask that you hide me behind the cross. Don't let the people see me, but see you and me, and me and you, O Lord. Father, I thank you because you gave your son, the son gave his life, that we may have a right to realize this. In Jesus Christ's name that we pray. Amen. Amen. So again, thank you. If you are going out and you're going to venture out tomorrow for Memorial Day, I ask that you be safe. Be responsible. Do not drink and drive. Do not party so hard that you cause injury to yourself and or to someone else. Be respectful. Enjoy the day. And remember the things of service members. This morning, I want to speak to you on this topic, core values. As we have had some to graduate from college, from high school, from middle school, and even yet from elementary, going to the next level in their lives. The things that we tend to not speak about sometimes are core values. And we do not do enough to thank the parents of those who have reached the next stage in their lives. So to the parents of those that have graduated, thank you for instilling in your children, instilling in your young men and or women, core values. We're going to come from Judges chapter 13 as we finished up Judges chapter 12 on last week, where we dealt with two judges, the 11th and the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th judge, actually three of them, who had short periods recorded of their lives. And we told you last week, it don't take all of that. And so this week, we go into a long, extended period of a judge for the nation of Israel whose name is Samson. And many of you will say you know him as being the strongest man that ever lived. But let's look at this core value thing. Let's look at Judges chapter 13, I will read in your hearing verses 1 through 8 this morning, but the chapter is really just 25 verses long. Read it. Read it. It will do you some good. Judges chapter 13, verse 1 says, and the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord delivered them into the hand of the Philistines for 40 years. You have to know that the Philistines are a perpetual enemy to the nation of Israel, even unto today. Palestine, Philistine, that is where it's from. They are perpetual enemies. So after Judge number 12, the children of Israel do evil again in the sight of God, and he delivered them into the hand of the Philistines. Verse 2. And there was a certain man of Zorah, of a family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bare not. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman, and said unto her, behold now, thou art barren, and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive, and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine, nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing. For lo, thou shalt conceive, and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head. For the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. Then the woman came and told her husband that a man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God. Very terrible, awesome in the Bible, they say. But I asked him not whence he was, neither told me his name. But he said unto me, behold, thou shalt conceive, and bear a son, and now drink no wine, nor strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God, from the womb to the day of his death. Verse 8, then Manoah entreated the Lord, and said, O my Lord, let the man of God, which thou didst send, come again unto us, and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born. Core value. Understand what's going on. Israel has sinned again in the sight of God after God has delivered them for the 12th time from the enemy. He has told them if they would hearken unto his voice, they would be blessed. When they turned away from him, they would receive the curses of the land. And now they are under the curses of under the oppression and suppression again of the Philistines in the land for some 40 years. And God has visited a woman in that she is married to Manoah, a man from the tribe of Dan. Understand something, if you will. Notice that Manoah is the father, but you don't have the mother's name. It's amazing to me that a lot of us believe that we have to go around telling everybody who we are, where we are. That don't matter when it comes to your core values. You see, I'm speaking to the parents today because you have instilled in your graduates, you have instilled in your children some core values. And the one who really needs to know your name and understand where you are coming from is your child. You better hear me this morning. As long as they know when you say something and they listen, that's good enough. I thank you because you have instilled in your children core values. Understand, the woman's name is not known, but God appears unto the woman. Why? She's barren. She's barren. She cannot have a child. Now, know, if you will, the custom in Israel was if you were unable to foster children to your husband, he was allowed to have a concubine. He was allowed to have a handmaid so that he could have an offspring, someone to come up and bear and keep the family's name amongst him in the tribe. But in this instance, we see that Manoah has been fair and true unto his wife and has not stepped outside of the marriage vows that he has. You got to hear me this morning. Those are core values. When we can be faithful one to another, even though the law says we don't have to, those are core values. Raise your children to know that there are some things that we have to stick to, and Manoah sticks to his principle. He loved his wife. Core values. And love goes a long way. I wish I had somebody. Parents, love your children. That is one core value that can never be taken away no matter what happens, when it happens, if it happens. Love trumps. I wish I had somebody. It is a core value. Notice what happens. The angel of God appears to the woman and tells her a few things. He tells her, because of y'all's faithfulness, because of y'all's love, you're going to bear and have a child. I wish I had somebody. And we have to be sensitive to the women in our land who want children, who cannot bear children, who have tried everything that they need to, and yet we want to look down on them as if something is wrong with them. It may just not be their time. When God is ready for you to rear up a child, believe you me, it will happen. Now watch this. She don't even know what's going on. The angel tells her, you're going to have a son. Now wait a minute, Mr. Angel, how do you know that? I haven't even conceived. You have to understand, God knows us before we even get into the womb. So for all of you who are fighting these battles about when conception takes place, forget when conception takes place. It's when God takes place that matters. And God knows each and every one of us before we're even conceived. He knows each and every hair on our head. As he told the prophet before we're even in the womb, God is the one who's in control, and that is a core value. Watch this. Watch this. I'm going somewhere this morning. Not only does he tell her she's having a son, he tells her what her son is going to be. You missed that. He tells her, look, you can't drink any wine, you can't eat any fruit of the vine, you can't do anything that goes against the Nazarite vow, because the child will be a Nazarite from the womb till his death. You better hear me this morning. When God tells you something about the child that you are caring, about the child that you are rearing, it don't matter what you want versus what God says. You see, because what I want versus what God says. God says what he wants for the child, and what I need to do is make sure that I adhere to what God says so that our wants line up and we give the child core value. Somebody better get this. And when we line up with the word of God, and some folks keep saying, well, God don't speak to me. God speaks to us every day, and we will pick up the Bible and just read. If you read the word of God, it will direct you. You will know what's going on, what to do, where to go. Here it is, in the womb. Child isn't even here yet, and she already knows what her child is going to be and what he's going to do. And some of us are trying to press and push stuff on our children, and God didn't call them to be that. Every child is not going to play in the NFL. Every child is not going to play in the NBA. Every child is not going to swing a bat and a ball. Every child is not going to be on the Supreme Court, be a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer. There are those, I wish I had somebody, who will be actors, who will be artists, who will make clothes, who will sell retail, there are those who will be cooks, chefs, waitresses. There are those who will drive trucks. There are those who will deliver packages. There are those in life that God has called to do something to help people in an industry, in an area, in a state, in a town, in a neighborhood that needs to hear a word from Him by the delivery that He wants them to deliver. You got to hear me. And we have to make sure that we instill in our children core values. She knows that this child shall be raised not to drink strong drink, not to eat from the vine. A razor shall not be up on his head. He cannot approach any dead thing, not supposed to be around dead things. If you really want to know what the Nazarite vow is, go to Numbers chapter 6. Write that down. Numbers chapter 6 tells you everything you need to know about the Nazarite and the Nazarite vow. And this boy that's going to be born to Manoah and his wife will be a Nazarite from his birth. And he is to know that. Notice what happens here. She tells her husband what has been told to her, what has been done. Notice her husband don't sit there and argue and fuss with her. It is a bad thing when the parents can't come together to direct the child. Did you hear me? Now that don't mean that we're going to agree on everything, but that does mean we need to have some core values that we instill in our children. We need to know that we watch our language. We need to know a core value that we don't discipline in anger. We need to know that we love on our child. Core value. We need to know that they will respect authority and listen to adults. Core value. We need to know that our core values start with them being brought up in a godly home. Yeah. I wish I had somebody. If we bring them up in the admonition of the Lord, respecting God, following the commandments, as Jesus said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy might, with all thy strength. This is the first, the greatest commandment, and the second is like him unto it, to love thy neighbor as thou love thyself. If we bring them up in just those two, Jesus said, then all of the law, the Psalms, and everything has been fulfilled in those two. Core values. Here is the thing. When we get a child, we have to understand the child isn't necessarily for us. Notice what God has told Manoah and his wife. The child is to be a Nazarite unto God. My son, Victor O'Ryan Williams, take his initials, D-O-W, vow. We made a vow when he was born that we were going to render him and give him back to the Lord. Day one. I prayed, Lord, what shall his name be? He gave me the initials. Said, okay, if that's the initials, I vow that I will raise him godly. And I have stuck to that vow. Because he needed what? Core values. I thank you, parents, for giving your children core values that they can take with them as they go to the next stage of their life, be it from elementary to middle school, where they can say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. Thank you. If they go from middle school to high school, where they know how to accept and work with their peers. If they're going from high school to college, where they know how to stand on their own 2 feet, manage their time, get their courses together, report back to home to let you know that everything is, I wish I had somebody. Some core values. Now, my son is not a Nazarite. Nor have I forced him in trying to become a preacher like his father. nor did I ask him to go and get an engineering degree like his father. Why, preacher? That's a good profession. Being a preacher is a good thing. There is nothing wrong with that. He could have been an engineer, but that's not the course that God had for him. And your particular job that you have may not be the course that God has set for your child. You have to be willing to expand and let them expand their background. There's some things that he wants to do that I didn't even know what existed. I didn't know what actuary science was. When he told me what it was, I thought he was playing. I thought it was a made-up thing. Actuary science. See, we have to understand that they have more opportunities. They have more things to get into because technology has opened up more things for them than what for us. I wish I had somebody. So let them expand. Let them go. But make sure that they have the things and the tools that they need that they can succeed in the next step of life. And that begins with them having some core values. Another right. Go to Numbers chapter 6. Please read it. Now understand this. Understand this. Look at this. God is an angel that appears unto Manoah's wife. What does he do? He goes and he prays about it. Men. When nobody tells you something about the baby that you killed in the home, as they get older, pray about it. Don't start throwing your hands up. Just don't let up. See what you were in school. But he went and he asked God. He said, God, send the person back that you sent to talk to my wife. And not only that, when he saw the person, he said, are you the one? And then he tells the person, teach us what it is we need to do for this child. On the day that he's born, we want to know from day one what it is we need to do, because I got news for you. Raising children ain't easy. Especially in this day and in this world. Raising children, they have so much that they have to deal with. And parents, so do you. But you have to know that if you have instilled in them some core values, that God is in control. If you have asked God to teach you and to train you and to help you in the rearing of your child, and you have stuck to the plan, trust in what you've done. Trust in your parenting. Trust that God has led you to lead them, that they can be a good, respectful citizen in the area where they are, and that they know the core value. I wish I had somebody today. Manoah and his wife say, okay, now you told him he can't have strong drink. He can't eat through the vine. He can't be around any dead thing. He cannot let a razor come upon his head. If he shall break any of this vow, he's got to shave his head and start over with the sin and the oblation offering unto God, and his Nazarite vow starts over from there. They have some core things that they have to do, that they have to adhere to for the child to be reared up as a godly child. You better hear me today. Well, how does that affect? What does that mean for you and I? That's a good question. You see, we don't have a Nazarite vow. Let me help you this morning. Let me help you. But we have a Nazarene vow. What do you mean Nazarene? You see, the vows that we have been given as article values don't come from a Nazarite, but come from a Nazarene. Because Jesus Christ was born in Nazareth, he is a Nazarene. He is not a Nazarite, but he is a Nazarene. We know that Jesus went unto and near dead things because he raised folks from the dead. You better hear me today. At the Lord's Supper, he had struck. Oh, come on now. He wasn't under Nazarite vow. God didn't have to be under the Nazarite vow. because he was God. But the Nazarene vow that we have adhered to was when we accepted him as Lord and Savior of our lives, and we told him that, oh man, I can remember the day. How many of us, when we joined church, the first thing we did is, I'm going to follow you for the rest of my life. We took the Nazarene vow that we were going to follow Jesus, that we were going to do what he said do, that we were going to act how he said act, that we were going to say what he said say. We took the Nazarene vow that we were going to have him as Lord and Savior of our lives. And for those of you today, those parents that have stuck to your vow, I thank you for having some core values. Because you know your core values started with Jesus Christ being hung on the cross, bled and died for you, was put in the grave for 3 long days, but early on the 3rd day, he got up with all power in his hand. I wish I had somebody. And those core values have helped you to raise and rear up your child in the Spirit of the Lord. Because when they ask you, Mama, how are we going to make it? You told them, God. When they told you, Mama, I don't understand it, you told them, God. When they looked at you and were mad at you because you wouldn't let them do what everybody else was doing, you told them, God. And when they couldn't finally figure it out, you told them, look, we have some core values in this house. And God has told me, this is what I need to tell you. This is how things are going to go. We are saved by the grace of God, and we're going to live by that grace through faith, because we know it is by him that we have a right to the tree of life. And I'm so happy. And child, you're going to do everything that the Bible says you need to do, because I know that these core values will see you through. When mom and dad have been called home to glory and you are still here, it's those core values that you're going to be able to lean back on and let God carry you through. Fundamental value that we have as Christians. Core value. We know that we shall not all sleep and see death, but we will pass from life to life. And that's a core value that our children have, that we will all see each other once again on the other side. Because Jesus said, I go to prepare a place for you, that what I am, you may be there also. I would not tell you so if it were not true. But in my Father's house are many men. Where I am, you may be also. So one day, parents, again, thank you. Don't give up. The Bible says, train up a child in the manner in which they shall go, and when they get old, they shall not depart from it. They may have wavered, but they'll come back, because you put core values in them. God bless you, and God keep you is my prayer. I thank you for joining us. I thank you, parents, again for the core values that you give yourself a hand of the cross and the things that you plan for your children. It's a good thing. I thought today would be a good day to speak to the parents, because you have labored long and hard, and now you are reaping the reward of what you've done. And you are to be congratulated. God bless you, and God keep you in our prayer. There may be somebody that doesn't understand this core set of values that we are instilling in our children. This core set of values that we live by, that we hold to, that we refuse to waver from. Well, it just doesn't make sense. Well, let me introduce you to who can make it make sense for you. I'm asking you today, take yourself a Nazarene, not a Nazarite, a Nazarene vow, and accept Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior. Trust me. He can make things so much more better. Not that you won't have trouble on this side, but you have someone that can help you understand why things are going the way they're going. You say, well, look at the tragedy in Seattle. Look at what happened in Boston. Buffalo. Look at what's going on in Ukraine. God is allowing all this because that's what we keep asking for. But He's also allowed it so that He can draw others closer to Him. In this time, in these tragedies, draw closer, get closer to God. But He's trying to get closer to you. And the way you do that is by just repeating this prayer. Lord, I'm a sinner. Being saved by your grace. I thank you, Jesus, for what you did on Calvary's cross. It's in your name that I pray. Amen. And the Bible declares that if you believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord, you shall be saved. I believe that today. If you pray that prayer, I ask that you get involved with a good Bible-based service. If you don't know one, you can contact us at 281-782-6767. Or email us at servicehouse@hughes.net. We'll gladly get in contact with you and help you grow in this newfound relationship that you've entered into, so that you can get some core principle values in your life. Maybe that's where you're struggling at. Your value system is almost up. And you need something to be the foundation. Let Jesus be that foundation stone for you. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Be blessed. See you live and in person next week here at the Southern South Ministry. God bless you and God keep you is my prayer.